And we are live. How is it going, everybody? This is Rob Kenobi, and I'd like to welcome you to my latest live stream, which, as you can tell by the title, will be my top 10 least favorite WrestleMania moments. Now, originally, this video, I have a very unique story to this video. I'm gonna tell it real brief. Originally, this video was supposed to be titled Top 10 Unpopular WrestleMania Booking Decisions. But the more I looked at my picks on this list, it's pretty much my top 10 least favorite WrestleMania moments, because everybody does top 10 favorite WrestleMania moments and top 10 least favorite WrestleMania moments. So I wanted to do something different. I wanted to do my top 10 least favorite booking decisions in WrestleMania history. But like I said, the more I looked at all these picks, all my choices, it was pretty much moments that happened at WrestleMania. I was trying to do something different. I wanted to do something unique to stand out, but in the end, it is ultimately my top 10 least favorite WrestleMania moments, and it is fitting because if you remember, 2 years ago, my Four Horsemen brethren and I did the WrestleMania Memory Series, and one part of that series was top 10 favorite WrestleMania moments. So now this is my top 10 least favorite WrestleMania moments. So real quick, guys, I got a new job. I'm not still adjusting to the schedule. I got used to my new schedule, you know, right off the bat. It's just a matter of like knowing when I'm gonna come home and want to film these videos. But the plan for this week, of course, is WrestleMania week. So I don't have a set schedule, but I have a series of videos that I'm going to be filming. I don't know when this week, but I'll be filming these videos this week in honor of WrestleMania. So the rundown. We're doing this video today, top 10 least favorite WrestleMania moments. I also have NXT TakeOver New York predictions coming up, WrestleMania 35 predictions coming up, and also my fantasy booking of WrestleMania 35. Now, I know I said there was going to be one other fantasy booking video I was going to do, and it was a major match at WrestleMania 35. But because of lack of time, I ultimately decided that I will just do the fantasy booking for that video in my WrestleMania 35 fantasy booking video, because it's a fantasy booking video, so it's all going to come together. Enough said. So in that moment, so with that said, guys, let's get right down to this video for WrestleMania week. My top 10 least favorite WrestleMania moments. I mean, the video is self-explanatory. There are some unique picks on this list with some unique backstories that I'll be talking about. So let's not waste any time. Let's get right down to it. And the live chat is open for those of you that are joining me live. Send your questions, comments, whatever. Open forum. Let's get right down to business. So coming in at number 10, we have AJ Styles at WrestleMania 32. This is a more recent WrestleMania moment, and this was really the one that inspired this whole, what was originally supposed to be top 10 least favorite or unpopular WrestleMania booking moments. But number 10 on my list is AJ Styles at WrestleMania 32. And of course, AJ Styles has been doing well in the WWE. He's had a great run so far in the WWE. But I'm still not a fan of what happened to him at WrestleMania 32. And granted, nothing severely bad happened to him that hurt his career. But I also will be talking about not just what happened to him at WrestleMania 32, but what was supposed to happen. What the original plans were for AJ Styles at WrestleMania 32. Because the original plans are an eye-opener. And I don't mean that in a positive way. But let's talk about what happened to AJ Styles. Let's talk about AJ Styles at WrestleMania 32 and why it's number 10 on my list. So AJ Styles, of course, had a match with Chris Jericho at WrestleMania 32. It was AJ's WrestleMania debut, and he had this feud going on with Chris Jericho that started back in January, the night after the Royal Rumble, where AJ debuted, of course. They had a match on Raw. AJ won that. Then a week later, they had a match on SmackDown. Jericho won that. So, of course, it was only fitting that they did a rubber match at Fastlane the next month. And AJ Styles won that. And I'm thinking, okay, AJ Styles has beaten Chris Jericho 2 out of 3. He's pretty much done with Chris Jericho. He can move on to, excuse me, another major program going into WrestleMania 32. So after that, AJ and Jericho formed Team Y2AJ, and they earned a shot at the New Day for the WWE Tag Team Championships. It was a great match. AJ and Jericho lost, and then Jericho turned on AJ, and the seeds were planted for a WrestleMania 32 rematch between these guys. And I was not a fan of it. I made a video almost 3 years ago about why I was not fond of, or more than 3 years ago, I was not a fan of this AJ Y2J fourth match happening at WrestleMania 32 because they already did 3 matches and they already were starting to, this was already near an overkill. Like, you know, if they did the match, if they had done the match on Raw where AJ beat Jericho, and then Jericho and AJ started teaming up, and they won the tag team championships, and then Jericho wanted a rematch with AJ because he wanted to prove that he's still one of the best, and he's not going to just let AJ walk over him, let this new guy come in and take the spotlight. Then I would have been fine with it. But because they did the first match on Raw, then they did the rematch on SmackDown, and then they did the rubber match at Fastlane, I was not for a WrestleMania 32 final showdown between these guys because, you know, AJ already beat Jericho, and I felt like it was overkill. So they had the match. The match was awesome, of course. Probably the best match. Well, no, the women's triple threat match was the best match on that show, but this was the second best in my opinion. And AJ lost. And I was like, why? Why did WWE did not give AJ Styles a WrestleMania moment by having him beat Chris Jericho in his debut match? I don't know why, because Jericho really didn't need that win. And they were tied at 2 falls apiece in singles matches. Now, granted, everything ended up working out for AJ Styles because the next night on Raw, he beat Chris Jericho in a fatal 4-way to become the #1 contender for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship and challenge Roman Reigns at Payback. So, while I'm still not a fan of AJ losing his WrestleMania debut, it still ended up working out for him in the end because he got a shot at Roman Reigns for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Now, AJ Styles was not supposed to face Chris Jericho at WrestleMania 32. The original plans for AJ Styles at WrestleMania 32, and I'm not kidding when I say this, he was supposed to face Ryback. And he was supposed to get squashed by Ryback at WrestleMania 32. AJ Styles was supposed to fall in his debut WrestleMania match to, of all people, Ryback. Had that happened, AJ Styles' career in WWE would have been dead. WWE was seriously considering putting him in the ring with Ryback and having Ryback squash him in his debut match at WrestleMania. And that would have been horrible. That would have killed AJ's career, and the fans would have rage quit. The social media would have blown the hell up over this bullshit because WWE pretty much killed, you know, one of the best wrestlers pound for pound out there, killed his career in 1 match. Ridiculous. Thank God it never happened. Thank God AJ Styles versus Ryback never happened at WrestleMania 32 because that would have been just horrible for AJ's career. I mean, could you imagine if he lost to freaking Ryback of all people in his very first WrestleMania match? If he was squashed by Ryback of all people, that just would have been god awful. It would have not benefited AJ Styles 1 bit in the WWE. Thank God they didn't do that. He he lost to Chris Jericho, but he avenged that loss the next night on Raw and became the #1 contender for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. I'm just happy that they never, I didn't know about this until recently, but thank God they did not go through with that, or AJ Styles' career would have been done at WrestleMania 32. It would have been done. So, thank God AJ Styles didn't get squashed, but I still think he should have won that match with Chris Jericho because there was really nothing for Jericho to gain. off of beating, AJ Styles, but thank God he did not get squashed by Ryback. If I had to pick, I'd rather him lose to Jericho than Ryback. Coming in at number 9 is a moment from WrestleMania 27, which really, the problem I have with this match was that there were 2 talents involved who really shouldn't have been involved in this match because they were great talents and they should have had their own match. And ultimately, unfortunately, they took a back seat to one of the people in this match because that person was a big celebrity at the time. And I'm talking about when John Morrison and Dolph Ziggler took a back seat to SnookiMania at WrestleMania 27. So WrestleMania 27, the match was Snooki, Trish Stratus, and John Morrison versus Lay Cool and Dolph Ziggler. Now, it really should have just been Snooki and Trish Stratus versus Lay Cool because the feud was really about Trish, Snooki, and Lay Cool. John Morrison and Dolph Ziggler really had no reason to be involved in that feud. The only reason they were was because Dolph was still associated with Vicky Guerrero, and John Morrison just, I guess out of nowhere was just thrown into the fray. So then he and Ziggler ended up having a feud that really, like I said, excuse me. Like I said, Morrison and Ziggler took a backseat to Snooki because I haven't seen the match, and to my recollection, I think Morrison and Ziggler didn't even do much in that match. It was mainly about Snooki, Trish, and Lay Cool because Snooki was one of WWE's guests, and when WWE has a celebrity guest, they get him involved somehow in WrestleMania. So Snooki had a match where she teamed with Trish to face Lay Cool, and it should have just been Trish and Snooki versus Lay Cool. John Morrison and Dolph Ziggler deserved better. They could have had their own singles match at WrestleMania. Like John Morrison is a prime example of WWE dropping the ball on guys who could have been potential main eventers. And same thing with Dolph Ziggler. You know what I'm saying? Like, why were they taking a backseat to SnookiMania and this 6-person tag team match when they could have had their own, they could have had their own WrestleMania match, which would have been great. And then the women could have done their own thing. So, I don't know. John Morrison in 2011 was not on the best run of his WWE career. And that's not his fault. That's because of how WWE booked him, how they were booking him. And Dolph Ziggler was faring better than Morrison, but still, like, Morrison and Ziggler should have just had a Mania match themselves. And the women should have had their tag team match, all to themselves, because why did Ziggler and Morrison have to take a backseat to SnookiMania? You know what I'm saying? So, never seen the match. Probably won't ever see the match. Don't really care for it. But Ziggler and Morrison deserve better on that WrestleMania. So that's my number 9 least favorite WrestleMania moment. Coming in at number 8, I have both the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal and the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal. Let me start with the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. This was a prime example of a great idea and concept by WWE that just went nowhere. So, of course, the first Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal happened at WrestleMania 30, and it was won by Cesaro. And that was a very fitting winner because we all wanted to see Cesaro get a WrestleMania moment, and we wanted to see him get a major push toward a world title shot in a main event spot. Whatever happened, but what happened afterwards, was they paired Cesaro up with Heyman because Heyman was trying to put heat on Brock Lesnar because Lesnar broke the streak, of course, that same night. So they put him with Cesaro to keep putting the heat on Brock because of Brock breaking the streak, and it didn't go anywhere. Cesaro did not have many wins under Paul Heyman's, management. And Cesaro, up until he started teaming with Tyson Kidd, was losing big matches, even losing a trick-or-treat street fight against Dean Ambrose on SmackDown, if I'm correct, in 2014. So the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal had a great purpose, you know, a great concept to honor the late great Andre the Giant and to give a young talent that win, which if it's not a Royal Rumble win, it is a win that can elevate their career. And ever since then, with the exception of one guy, Baron Corbin in 2016, this Battle Royal has done nothing for anyone who's won it. 2015 was the Big Show, who didn't need to win it. It should have been Damian Mizdow. 2017 was Mojo Rawley, and they've not done a damn thing with him. If they were going to give that to anyone, it should have been Jinder Mahal because he won the freaking WWE Championship a month later at Backlash. And then last year it was Matt Hardy, Vulcan Matt Hardy, and it really didn't do anything for him either. This Battle Royal just has Andre the Giant's name on it, but it doesn't do anything for anybody. And honestly, I feel like this Battle Royal is a joke. You know, I hate to say it, but it's a joke. It could have really elevated those up-and-comers or those mid-carders who have been busting their ass to finally get that main event spot. That could have been a great way to elevate them. But instead, they just give it to a random guy, with the exception of Baron Corbin, who benefited from it, you know, for the rest of 2016, and they do nothing with it, you know? That's why I feel like a Battle Royal is a cop-out match, because you throw a bunch of random guys in it, jobbers, I hate to say it, but it's the truth, and, you know, whoever wins really never benefits from it. And the fact that this Battle Royal bears Andre the Giant's name on it is a damn shame, only because it's not doing Andre the Giant justice, you know, and it's not doing the winner justice either, you know. And now, this year's Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal has freaking Braun Strowman in it, the Hardy Boys, who should, of course, be in a SmackDown Tag Team Championship match against the Usos. It's going to have those two clowns from SNL and a bunch of other jobbers. It's like, I can't take this Battle Royal serious anymore. And I stopped taking it serious after WrestleMania 33. So this Battle Royal could have really been something. It could have been like the I don't know what the word is, but it could have been that substitute, so to speak, to the Royal Rumble, you know, where the winner is guaranteed a strong push and they're established as a main event player in the future. You know what I'm saying? So that's my gripe on that Battle Royal. Then the Women's WrestleMania Battle Royal. So there was a Women's WrestleMania Battle Royal that happened in 2009 at WrestleMania 25, and that was won by Santina. Ugh. So then, I guess to try and erase that history, and because WWE was doing so many history-making things with the women, they did a first ever WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal, which originally was named the Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal, and then was changed after every fucked up thing we learned about what Fabulous Moolah did to her fellow wrestling sisters. So then it became the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal, which I wouldn't mind if it was called the Mae Young Women's Battle Royal or the Miss Elizabeth Women's Battle Royal. You know, like, they could have been, you know, they could have named the Battle Royal after any of those two. But no, it's just called the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal, and freaking Naomi won it last year. And what does she get for winning? Does she get a SmackDown Women's title match the next month against the winner of Charlotte versus Asuka? Does she get, you know, a SmackDown Women's title match on the SmackDown where the Iconics debuted? Nope. She got nothing. Naomi didn't get a damn SmackDown Women's title match against Carmella after Carmella cashed in on Charlotte and won. She didn't get anything at SummerSlam. That Battle Royal, again, while I'm happy the NXT women got to shine in that match, that Battle Royal, like I've said, is a cop-out match. And they're doing that Battle Royal again this year with Asuka, of all people, in that freaking thing. And last year, she was challenging Charlotte for the SmackDown Women's Championship. So these Battle Royals, in my opinion, are a joke. They don't do anything for anybody. You know, who's going to win who's going to win the Battle Royal this year? Asuka as a consolation for dropping the SmackDown Women's Championship on Tuesday night? I don't know. These Battle Royals are jokes, in my opinion. They're jokes because they do nothing for the winner other than Baron Corbin, who, you know, his 2017 wasn't great, but his 2016 was pretty strong for the most part. So, yeah, he's really the only person that's benefited from a win in this Battle Royal. So, I really don't care for this year's Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and I don't care for this year's Women's WrestleMania Battle Royal. I don't care because whoever wins, they're not going to benefit from it. If Zelina Vega was to win this or Lacey Evans was to win this and they actually got a strong push after this, then hallelujah. What a miracle. But in my opinion, neither of these Battle Royals mean anything. Just drop them after this year because they don't do a damn thing for anybody. And that's why they're number 8 on my list. Swig of water and I'll be right back. All right. Number 7 on my list can be described one of two ways. By a number and by a classic saying. So number 7 on my list is 18 seconds, aka the kiss of death. Everybody remembers this moment. Daniel Bryan, in his first WrestleMania World Title match, as the World Heavyweight Champion, might I add, defends the title against Sheamus. WrestleMania 28. AJ Lee is in Daniel Bryan's corner because, of course, AJ Lee and Daniel Bryan had that little storyline relationship going on. I almost call her AJ Styles, excuse me. AJ Lee gets on the apron, gives Daniel Bryan a good luck kiss. And that's after the bell rings. And then Daniel Bryan turns around, eats a bro kick. 1, 2, 3. Daniel Bryan drops the World Heavyweight Championship in less than 30 seconds. 18 seconds to be exact. And when I saw that, I was pissed. Because I was so excited to see Sheamus and Daniel Bryan mix it up for the WWE World Heavyweight, for the World Heavyweight Championship. And I was rooting for Sheamus. I'll go on the record right here. I was rooting for Sheamus to win the title. And he won it, but he won it in such an underwhelming and controversial fashion. And I had a blog. Well, I have the blog still, but I haven't written anything for it in years. But anyway, I wrote about this. I reviewed WrestleMania as a written review, and I said, you know, what does that do to the legacy of the World Heavyweight Championship when you have the champion drop the title in 18 seconds? And what does it do to the legacy of the Royal Rumble match and the Royal Rumble winner itself? Are you telling me the Royal Rumble winners are going to win or lose their title matches in less than 30 seconds? The only good thing that came out of this was the yes chants and how that really, really set Daniel Bryan on a road to where he ultimately became one of the most beloved superstars in the company. But I still think it was a damn shame that his first major WrestleMania World title match ended in 18 seconds, in less than a minute, in less than 30 seconds. It's a damn shame. And that was ridiculous. And the fans couldn't believe it. And during the Divas match, which was that Maria Menounos and Kelly Kelly versus Eve, Torres Gracie, and Beth Phoenix match, they were chanting for Daniel Bryan. That's however Daniel Bryan was with the yes chants. That's however he was with the crowd. And it's a damn shame that it took 18 seconds for WWE to actually do something with him after that. But it should have never been that way. Because like I said, what does that do to the reputation of the Royal Rumble match? What does that do to the reputation of the Royal Rumble winner? And what does that do to the reputation of the World Heavyweight Champion? You know? So, very unfortunate that happened to Daniel Bryan. And you could say it's a blessing in disguise because of everything that happened from there on. But I still to this day hate the fact that in his very first World Heavyweight title match, Daniel Bryan dropped the World Heavyweight Championship in 18 seconds. That was ridiculous. That was a joke. And thank God Daniel Bryan's career didn't die from that. That was just ridiculous. That was just ridiculous. I've never, ever liked that moment since it happened. And still to this day, I'm not fond of that moment. Because it could have ruined Daniel Bryan's career. It could have ended his career. Not ended his career, but it could have ruined his career. And thank God it did. But that just made him look like a fool. And it made the World Heavyweight Championship look so irrelevant. And it made it look like a mockery. Yeah, I've just never been a fan of John Cena, excuse me. I've just never been a fan of Daniel Bryan dropping the championship the way he did to Sheamus in 18 seconds. If they had a strong 10-minute match and they did the whole kiss of death and then Sheamus hit that broken out of nowhere, I would be fine with that. But because it happened in 18 seconds, excuse me, and because it happened at WrestleMania in the opening match, it just did not benefit anybody. So, yeah. 18 seconds. Just remember that number, guys, in WrestleMania history. 18 seconds. That's how long it took Sheamus to annex Daniel Bryan of the World Heavyweight Championship in 2012. Yeah. I've never been a fan of that moment. Still not a fan of that moment. But thank God in the end, Daniel Bryan managed to make it to the top and become one of the most beloved wrestlers in WWE history. So, yeah. But just remember that number, guys. 18 seconds. All right. Excuse me. Where am I on this list? Okay. So, I'm going to discuss number 6, and then I'm going to read the live chat, and then I'm going to go through numbers 5 through 1. So, take a little bit of a break, so to speak, after I do number 6. But coming in at number 6, it's WrestleMania 9. And this is what I think a lot of people remember this show for. WrestleMania 9 is considered one of the worst, if not the worst, WrestleMania of all time. And one of the worst moments that came from this show happened at the very end of the show. And it was when Hulk Hogan stole Yokozuna's spotlight. Now, what I mean by that is, and if you're a longtime wrestling fan like me, you know your history, you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, the best way for me to describe this is this is one of those Hogan moments where Hogan was doing what Cena was doing recently. Before Cena was always in the main event and always being the champion, Hulk Hogan was doing it first. And so basically what happened was WrestleMania 9, the main event, was Bret Hart defending the WWF Championship against Yokozuna. And Yokozuna won the match due to interference from Mr. Fuji, who threw salt in Bret Hart's eyes and helped Yokozuna beat Bret and win the WWF Championship. So then Hulk Hogan comes out. And he's checking up on Bret. He's trying to debate what happened. You know, how controversially Fuji helped Yokozuna win the match and win the championship. And then Mr. Fuji gets on the mic and tells Hulk Hogan his Yokozuna issue a challenge. They'll put the WWF Championship on the line against Hulk Hogan right there and then, an impromptu WWE or WWF Championship match. Hogan takes the match. Hogan agrees to the match. And in less than 30 seconds, Hogan, I believe it was less than 30 seconds, Hogan beats Yokozuna and becomes the WWF champion. So Yokozuna, who, keep in mind, was being built well as a strong monster heel. Excuse me. Keep this in mind. Yokozuna, who just beat the WWF champion and was on a strong roll as a monster heel, drops his newly won WWF Championship to Hulk Hogan the same night he won it. Literally moments after he beat Yokozuna. That did not benefit Yokozuna one bit. And if you guys see where I'm going with this, a lot of these moments are my least favorites because they did not do any favors for those involved, for those that were on the short end of the stick when it came to the booking of these matches and moments. So yeah, Hulk Hogan pretty much stole Yokozuna's spotlight and his moment by becoming the WWF champion by beating him in an impromptu match right after Yoko beat Bret for the WWF championship. And why did this never lead to a Bret Hart Hogan match at SummerSlam that year? Now, I'm probably thinking it never led to that because Hogan never wanted to do the job to Bret, which, come on. I mean, Hogan's had so many moments as champion, so many matches, you know. Why couldn't he put Bret over at SummerSlam if that was the original plan? You know? And it did not benefit Yokozuna. Yokozuna got some of that momentum back when he beat Hogan at King of the Ring in 1993, but why did Hogan have to have this moment? Why couldn't Yoko just drop the belt to Hogan at King of the Ring and then you do Hogan and Bret at SummerSlam? I don't know. I'll never know why Hogan had to have the title after Yoko beat Bret for it that same damn night. I don't know why. Didn't benefit Yokozuna. He did regain some momentum when he beat Hogan at King of the Ring, but it did taint Yoko's WWF Championship victory. You know what I'm saying? That did taint that win a little bit. And I honestly have just never been a fan of that moment. Because, again, why did Hogan need to win the title the same night Yokozuna won it? I don't get it. I don't get what WWE was thinking. The WWF was thinking back then when they booked that. You want to give Hogan the title, give it to him at SummerSlam 93. Could have been Hogan and Yoko. You know, instead of Yoko and Lex Luger. But again, never been a fan of that because that took away from Yokozuna's moment. Yokozuna should have had his moment. And that ultimately was just a case of Hogan, once again, being in the limelight, doing what Cena does now. Hogan was doing it before. And this is no crack at Hogan, no disrespect or whatnot. But Hogan should have never stolen that moment from Yokozuna. Yoko should have had his moment. And Yoko should have gone on to be champion until either SummerSlam 93 or WrestleMania 10. But that is still to me, that's still ridiculous that Hogan stole the spotlight from Yokozuna that way. All right, so let's take a little break. Let's take a look at the live chat and see what we got. I only have 3 comments, and they're all from my good friend, TN Couponer. I don't know if he's still watching, but he asked how I'm doing. I'm doing well. Josh, thank you. How you doing? Thanks for tuning in. He said, nice rant about the Battle Royal. Thank you. And he feels bad for Asuka. I feel bad for Asuka, too. She deserves so much better booking on the main roster. And WWE fucked her over so bad. They've killed her so bad on the main roster. It's a damn shame. And I think Asuka should just leave and go back to either New Japan, Pro Wrestling, maybe go back to NXT, or hell, go to AEW. AEW could really benefit from Asuka's talents, and they could continue to build a strong women's division. So I think she should go to AEW. You know, Asuka for AEW. All right. TN Couponer is still here. Let me get a swig of water. As a matter of fact, let me get a swig of water. And I'm going to get a snack, and I'll be right back, and we will continue with the second half of my countdown. So, guys, just give me 1 minute. Give me a couple minutes. All right, guys. I do apologize for that awkward silence. I think next time I'll just play another clip from one of my streams or some other sound clip. I don't know, but yeah, I'm sorry for that awkward silence. All right. So, let's get back to the countdown. Now we're at the top 5. My final 5 least favorite WrestleMania moments. So, coming in at number 5. And, yeah. Coming in at number 5, excuse me. Roman Reigns as Mr. Main Event. Now, I'm glad Roman Reigns is back in the WWE, that he's doing well, that he's in remission, he's beating leukemia so far. I'm glad Roman's back. Joseph Anoa'i, Roman Reigns, glad to have you back. It is unfortunate, though, that it took him having leukemia for him to finally get over as a babyface. Something the WWE wanted so damn desperately. And, of course, Roman's had a controversial main event push that dates back to 2015. For the last 4 years, Roman Reigns has been in the main event of WrestleMania. 3 of those matches have been for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and 1 was a match that, in my opinion, should never happen because of one of the other competitors in the match. So, WrestleMania 31, I was fine with Roman being in the main event because I wanted to see a match between him and Brock Lesnar for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. I wanted to see him and Daniel Bryan win the Royal Rumble that year. So, they had the match, and in my opinion, Roman proved himself as a main eventer. He had a hard-hitting battle with Brock that, of course, ended with Seth Rollins cashing in his Money in the Bank briefcase and becoming the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, which is one of my all-time favorite WrestleMania moments. I was there live for that. That moment was incredible. So, okay, Roman in the main event of WrestleMania 31, we all came to accept it, and yeah, it was fine because it wasn't going to be Daniel Bryan in the main event, obviously, so they went with Roman Reigns. And I was fine with that, you know. So then WrestleMania 32 comes around. And the main event is Triple H versus Roman Reigns for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And really, this is a match that didn't need the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. It should have just been Triple H versus Roman Reigns with the proper story and the proper booking for Roman, and you would have been off to the races. And I still to this day ask, okay, so if it's not going to be Triple H and Roman for the world title, what would the world title picture have been if Roman and Triple H were fighting in just a grudge match? I still don't know. Because that was the time when WWE had a lot of their strong talent injured. You know, Rollins, Cena, Cesaro. yeah, so I don't know what the world title match would have been at WrestleMania 32. But the feud didn't need the World Heavyweight Championship. When Triple H won the title from in the Royal Rumble match, that was awesome. You know, they had momentum there. But then when Roman Reigns was pretty much given a world title shot when the Authority allowed him to fight Ambrose and Brock in a #1 contenders match, they pretty much gave up on that story. They gave everything away. You know what I'm saying? So, and when Triple H went into Mania as the champion, we all knew Roman Reigns was going to take the title from him. So that match was so predictable, and it didn't help the fact that match was like 30 minutes long and it was boring. You know, so that's another instance of where Roman didn't need to be in the main event. I'm not saying the match with him and Triple H shouldn't have happened. It could have happened. Could have been a grudge match. And Roman Reigns could have beaten Triple H, trumped the Authority, and then gone on to try and get back the WWE World Heavyweight Championship like later in the year. Then WrestleMania 33. And this is honestly a match that should have never happened because of the condition of one of the guys in the match. And this is where Roman Reigns, of course, faced The Undertaker in the main event. And this match should have never happened. Taker was not in the best shape. He looked bad. And I saw this back at the Rumble that year. It stemmed from Roman eliminating Undertaker in the Royal Rumble match. And then Roman, you know, claiming it would be that the ring would be his yard, not Taker's. And this match should have never happened because we all knew Roman Reigns was beating The Undertaker, and Undertaker was going to suffer his second WrestleMania loss. There was no chance in hell The Undertaker was beating Roman Reigns. We knew it. And this match should have never happened because, in my opinion, it was just a forced Roman Reigns. It was a forced Roman Reigns match where they were hoping they could get Roman, where they were hoping they could get a positive reaction for Roman. You're not going to get a positive reaction for him if you're putting him up against The Undertaker because they freaking love The Undertaker, the fans, and there's no way in hell you're going to have the fans cheer for Roman over The Undertaker. That was ridiculous. And the match was not even that good. I wanted to see an Undertaker Roman Reigns match at WrestleMania in the future, but I wanted to see it at maybe 31 had the streak not been broken by Brock, or 32. Not at 33 when Taker was pretty much, getting ready to call it what we thought was going to be a career at that time. So, should have never happened. It should have been something like Roman Reigns versus John Cena. That's when those two should have had a match at Mania 33 instead of, Cena and Nikki versus Miz and Maurice, which, set up a Mania moment for them, with Nikki being proposed to. And that didn't even last long. Their engagement ended. So, yeah. WrestleMania 33 with Undertaker and Roman Reigns should have never happened because that was just WWE. I think WWE did it to troll us because they knew we were never going to cheer for Roman over Undertaker. It should have been Roman versus Cena at 33. And then last year, WrestleMania 34, Roman Reigns in the main event for the 4th year in a row. And this time it was for the WWE Heavyweight Championship in a rematch that was technically 3 years in the making, and none of us wanted to see the match with Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. We knew it was going to happen because the rumors started floating around since the summer, I think, of 2017, or the summer or the fall, whatever. But we heard the rumors. It was going to be Brock Roman at Mania. It was going to be, Roman was going to win the Elimination Chamber. And it happened. And Roman got the match with Brock. And he ended up getting busted open and losing. That should have never happened. It was so forced. None of us wanted to see it. But WWE, because they like to troll us and they like to do things their way and they really don't care about the fans, they went through with it. They did another Roman Reigns Brock Lesnar match, which if they were going to do it, they should have done it at 32 when it was still fresh, not 3 years later, because no one was clamoring for Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 34. It happened. Roman lost, and Roman eventually slayed Brock at SummerSlam for the title. But Roman Reigns, 4 years in a row in the main event, was bad. It did no favors for the WWE and it did no favors for Roman, because the fans still booed him 4 WrestleManias later until it was revealed that he had leukemia and he was going away for a little while, and he got the babyface reaction that the WWE desperately wanted to give him. Roman Reigns should have not been in the main event of 32, 33, and damn sure 34, because 34 should have been Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar for the WWE for the Universal Championship, not here at 35. And again, this is not me knocking on Roman, because I'm glad he's alive and well after his battle with leukemia. This is just me knocking WWE for constantly booking this guy in the main event when other guys could have benefited from the main event instead of Roman Reigns. So there you go. Number 5 on my list, Roman Reigns, Mr. Main Event, 4 years in a row. Speaking of number 4, my number 4 least favorite WrestleMania moment comes from WrestleMania 30. And no, it's not the streak ending. You know, I've come to live with that. It's not the streak ending at WrestleMania 30, but it's somebody else's streak ending at WrestleMania. And that was when John Cena beat Bray Wyatt and ultimately derailed Bray Wyatt's momentum at WrestleMania 30. When Bray Wyatt fell to the Wyatt, he is the Wyatt family, excuse me. When Bray Wyatt fell to the CeNation. This was the match I was the most concerned about going into WrestleMania 30, besides the Daniel Bryan saga, because we all know what happens when a fresh face goes up against John Cena. They lose. Cena kills their momentum, and it takes them forever to regain their momentum. So, going into WrestleMania 30, there was the rumor of Bray Wyatt facing John Cena. And John Cena, of course, or Bray Wyatt, had a lot of momentum going in. He was undefeated. He was doing great things with the Wyatt family. But we knew if it happened, if it was Cena versus Wyatt, we knew Wyatt was not going to win. There was that maybe 1% chance he was going to win, but there was a 99% chance he was losing. And that's pretty much what happened. I really wanted to see Bray Wyatt win, because this really could have benefited him well. Bray Wyatt, you know what? Had Bray Wyatt not lost to John Cena at WrestleMania 30, okay? Had he not lost to John Cena, had he beat John Cena, and had maybe Taker retained the streak, and Daniel Bryan hadn't got injured and was still the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, I think Daniel Bryan would have lost the title to Bray Wyatt at SummerSlam. That would have been the perfect time to give Wyatt the championship. SummerSlam 2014. But no. Bray Wyatt, after all his little mind games in this match, which were great, daring Cena to hit him with a steel chair, daring Cena to embrace a dark side, to embrace the hate, because, of course, he rises above the hate. John Cena beats Bray Wyatt. And Bray Wyatt struggled for practically 3 years to regain his momentum after that. Because I'm not going to go through the entire Bray Wyatt, career, but he beat Cena in the cage match at Extreme Rules because of that kid with the distorted voice. He lost to Cena in the Last Man Standing match at Payback. He then lost to Chris Jericho at Battleground in what seemed like a pointless feud, but kudos to Jericho for wanting to work with Wyatt because he liked Wyatt. And then Excuse me. And then he has the feud with Dean Ambrose, which he wins. But then, of course, he loses to The Undertaker at WrestleMania 31. And he kept going up and down, up and down. His career was pretty much a roller coaster ride until he got to SmackDown in 2016 in the draft. And under Ryan Ward's writing, he had, he feuded with Randy Orton, and then Randy Orton joined the Wyatt family. The Wyatt family won the SmackDown Tag Team Championships at TLC. The month before, Bray and Randy Orton were the sole survivors for Team SmackDown in the Team Raw Team SmackDown elimination match. And then, Bray won the WWE Championship inside the Elimination Chamber, dropped it to Randy Orton at freaking WrestleMania, beat Randy Orton that horrible, what's that match called? House of Horrors match. And, of course, the stuff with Finn Balor and the stuff with Matt Hardy. And, unfortunately, the Leader of Worlds team didn't really get off like it should have. And so, yeah, ever since WrestleMania 30, Bray Wyatt, his momentum took a downward spiral, and his career was a roller coaster ride, with the only strong part of that ride being his run on SmackDown during Ryan Ward's era. And again, it was a case of, and this is why I've had a lot of resentment for Cena in recent years. Cena, it was the case again of Cena defeating the new, the new up-and-comer, the new face, and killing their momentum, and the newcomer struggling to regain said momentum because they lost to John Cena. I hated when Cena lost. No, excuse me. I like when Cena lost at freaking Extreme Rules, but the damage was already done. And he should have lost that Mania, and then Wyatt could have lost that Extreme Rules. But the damage was done, and Bray Wyatt really is a case of what could have been. Coming in at number 3 is from WrestleMania 31, the WrestleMania that I was at. Awesome show, awesome experience. But this was one of the gripes I had with that show. Sting falls to the game. Game over Sting. What I hate the most about this is that Sting was denied a WrestleMania moment. Sting losing to Triple H shouldn't have happened. Sting should have beaten Triple H. Now, I respect Sting for things achieved, of course, and for the old school mentality that he has. Because for those that may not know, the reason why Sting lost to Triple H at WrestleMania 31 was because Sting thought that was going to be the only match he had at WrestleMania for the WWE. He really didn't see a point in him winning. So he wanted to just put over the younger guy, so to speak. And I respect Sting for having that mentality and for being a team player, but he should have really fought hard to get a WrestleMania moment. He should have beaten Triple H. Because what are Sting's most memorable moments in WWE, like in terms of wins and losses? He has 2 disqualification wins on Raw, and he lost in the 2 biggest pay-per-view matches of his career, and the only 2 pay-per-view matches of his WWE run. He lost to Triple H at Mania when he should have won, and he lost to Seth Rollins for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, which, really, do you think they were really going to give Sting, and this is no disrespect to Sting, I love Sting, but do you really think they were going to give Sting the WWE World Heavyweight Championship? They were going to take it off of Seth Rollins? Nah, Rollins was going to drop that to Roman Reigns. This probably would have just been their way of showing respect to Sting and giving him a world title match, so Sting could have said, hey, I challenged for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. But still, you give him the title shot when he lost to Triple H? I hated it. I still to this day think Sting should have won that match against Triple H. Because what did Triple H have the benefit from that? Nothing. Sting could have won, and Sting could have had his WrestleMania moment. Like, We Are Pro Wrestling best summed this up. Snooki has a WrestleMania win, but Sting doesn't. What a harsh reality that is. Now, Number 2 on my list. Mike, if you're watching this, you probably know which one this is because you love when I rant about this. I ranted about it when we did our 2018 year-end awards. I ranted about it recently when you did your least, worst WrestleMania matches live stream recently. And we tweet about it on Twitter, and still to this day, I hate this moment so much because of how god-awful it is. Coming in at number 2, the babysitter among men. When Braun Strowman freaking teamed up with a 10-year-old kid named Nicholas to win the Raw Tag Team Championships from the Bar last year. I've ranted about this moment so much, I'm not even going to bother ranting about it again. I'm not going to. I'm not going to, okay? I'm not going to rant about this anymore. I've said what I've had to say about it, but I'll just say this one more time. How does Braun Strowman go from last year competing for the Raw Tag Team Championships, albeit with a 10-year-old kid as his partner, to now being back in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal? How the hell does this happen? Oh, and hey, listen to this. WWE did a Where Are They Now on Nicholas recently, and he says he's training for another WrestleMania moment. Oh, Lord. Braun Strowman. How the mighty have fallen. That's why I call him the babysitter among men, because really, his tag team partner is going to be a 10-year-old kid. Not a Samoa Joe, not a Pete Dunne, not a Tyler Bate, not a, not any other strong call from NXT or any other surprise return. A Bobby Lashley. No, it's going to be a 10-year-old kid. I have nothing else to say about this because you guys have heard me rant about it. You've seen me tweet about it. I'm not going to talk about this anymore. I'm done. So, yeah, number 2 on my list, babysitter among men. Now, real quick, I'm going to take one more little quick snack and water break. For that, and because of that, I am going to play a clip, a random clip from one of my videos, so there's no awkward silence, and then I will give you guys number 1 on my list, what my number 1 least favorite WrestleMania moment is. So let me find the right clip. And I'll play that while I take my last little snack break, and then number 1. Actually, I know what I'm going to do. I'll play this. I'll actually, you know what? I'll play the clip where I anointed Braun Strowman the babysitter among men. I'll play that clip for you while I have my little snack break. So, let me find that video. Oh, God. That was this one, I think. It was the first one. Yep, it was the first one. All right. So, I'm going to play this while I have my snack. And you guys just hang tight. And then I'll be back with number 1. So let me see. Is this it? Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think this is it. Yeah. All right, guys. So enjoy. I'll be right back.
Buddy Murphy did is remarkable in itself. And I'm just still amazed that Triple H gave him this opportunity. He took this opportunity and he made not only the best of it, but he made it to the championship throne. It's just incredible, you know? Right. Okay. Now, for my pick as most improved wrestler of the year, I'm going with someone who in the beginning, I wasn't too fond of because I felt like they didn't have the best mic skills. But of course, this person had just arrived and this person had yet to show me what they can really do. When this person got into the ring, this person really changed my mind. And I was so happy for them. So my most improved is Ronda Rousey.
Makes sense, definitely.
I was not fond of Ronda's mic skills in the beginning, but I have to be fair. She had just arrived. She's not a wrestler. She came from mixed martial arts. Mixed martial arts is a completely different battlefield than professional wrestling. They're 2 different sports. So Ronda didn't have the best mic skills. But when Ronda stepped into the ring, it was a completely different story. From the moment she ran into the ring at WrestleMania 34 when she was tagged in and Corey Graves went, call the cops, and just dragged, flipped Stephanie McMahon into the ring, and then she just started kicking ass. Ronda just really impressed me. And her mic skills have gotten better. Since then, her mic skills have gotten better. She looks great in the ring. She may not always have the best matches, but you can tell Ronda really loves to do this. The only thing that I think about is that she comes out smiling too much.
Yeah.
But I take that as that's how much she loves doing what she does. And I have nothing against that. But the thing is, you have Ronda Rousey, who you're billing the baddest woman on the planet, and she's a badass. She's a legit badass. I think she really needs to smile less. Like, remember how focused she came out when she fought Alexa Bliss at SummerSlam? Remember that look? That's the Ronda Rousey that we need. I'm not saying it hurts her character, but I think it does take a little credibility away. Like, she is the baddest woman on the planet, but she's coming out smiling every night, every pay-per-view. And like I said, I'm sure the smiles are because she loves to do this, which you can see legit in how she performs. But I feel like there are times where she needs to have that game face and she needs to be just a destroyer in the ring, a savage. But other than that, she really impressed me with everything she did. Her mic skills have improved. She's great in the ring, and she has a legit judo background. I think she has a jiu-jitsu background too. But it all comes together for her. So Buddy Murphy is definitely a great pick for Most Improved Wrestler of the Year. But for me, I gave it to Ronda Rousey just because I was concerned with how they book Ronda, how she looked in the ring, and WrestleMania destroyed all those concerns. WrestleMania was just like, wow, this is for real.
You can thank Paul Heyman for those Most Improved mic skills, I believe, because I think she's worked with him definitely. But yeah, that's a very good pick there, Robbie. I completely agree with what you said.
Thank you for that. Thank you. And I'll do my best. Corey Graves again. Call the cops! Because you legit heard him scream that when she went right after Stephanie. I watched that on New Year's Eve, and I heard him scream that, and I was just laughing when Ronda got tagged in, because you knew Ronda was gonna want to rip Stephanie's arm off.
Oh yeah.
All right, guys. So here we go. So I want to do a quick recap of my first 9 picks, and then I'm going to drop number 1. So number 10, AJ Styles at WrestleMania 32. Number 9, John Morrison and Dolph Ziggler take a back seat to SnookiMania. Number 8, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal and the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal. Number 7, 18 Seconds, aka the Kiss of Death. Number 6, Hulk Hogan steals Yokozuna Spotlight. Excuse me. Number 5, Roman Reigns, Mr. Main Event, 4 years in a row. Number 4, Bray Wyatt falls to the CeNation. Number 3, Game Over, Sting. And number 2, the babysitter among men. And now, ladies and gentlemen, that leaves me with my number 1 pick, my least favorite WrestleMania moment of all time. And I already knew this was going to be number 1 right off the bat. I knew this was going to be number 1 because I've never been a fan of this moment since the seeds were planted at the start of 2013. I've never been a fan of this. And I still am not a fan of this. And I feel like this should have never happened because it tainted the legacy of what happened the year before. Number 1 on my list, twice in a lifetime. I don't know why WrestleMania 30 or WrestleMania 29 had to be twice in a lifetime. I've never been fond of The Rock versus John Cena 2 for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 29 because it was a match that never had to happen. It never should have happened. It ultimately spoiled the legacy of once in a lifetime because once means one time, not 2 times, damn sure not 3. But WWE saw money in it, and they did it because of the money. And they had to give John Cena his moment. He had to get his win back. So what do? Him, The Rock, WWE Championship. John Cena's road to redemption after that horrible 2012 where he still beat Brock Lesnar. He ended up winning Superstar of the Year and beating everyone, whoever else he beat. The Rock beat John Cena, or The Rock beats John Cena at WrestleMania 28, of course. And The Rock goes on to beat CM Punk for the WWE Championship at the Royal Rumble. Hours before that, John Cena wins the Royal Rumble. He eliminates Ryback, wins the Royal Rumble match. So what does that mean? John Cena is getting a shot at The Rock for the WWE Championship, which means we get twice in a lifetime, which means once in a lifetime doesn't exist. It taints the legacy of that. And I don't like that. There's one thing about WWE I don't like, and it's when they taint the legacy of something special. They did it last year with Taker Triple H at Super Showdown, and then it brought Shawn Michaels out of retirement for the Brothers of Destruction versus DX at Crown Jewel. I was never a fan of that because it tainted the legacy of End of an Era at WrestleMania 28. And then this match. Twice in a lifetime. John Cena, The Rock, round 2, and this time the WWE Championship's on the line. And the match didn't even deliver. It was finisher kick out, finisher kick out. Oh, Cena goes for the people's elbow, counters, finisher kick out, finisher kick out. You know, John Cena doesn't fail on the people's elbow this time. Finisher kick out, finisher kick out. And then John Cena pinned The Rock and won the WWE Championship back. And the crowd didn't care because they didn't want to see that match. They wanted to see CM Punk in the main event of WrestleMania as the WWE Champion. They would have preferred CM Punk versus John Cena or CM Punk versus The Undertaker for the WWE Championship. Or Punk's idea, the triple threat elimination match. Have Punk be in there for 7 minutes and have him be eliminated first, when really he should have just been in the match from the start and Cena could have pinned Rock and game over. But yeah, I've never been a fan of twice in a lifetime because it never should have happened. But WWE did it for greedy reasons. That was money. And to give John Cena his win back over The Rock. And it tainted the legacy of once in a lifetime, just like what I said a few moments ago, what the Triple H Undertaker match at Super Showdown and the match that followed that, Crown Jewel, tainted the legacy of End of an Era from WrestleMania 28. Never been a fan of either of those rematches. Never been a fan. I just don't understand why. It could have been Cena and Punk at Mania for the title. Could have been Cena and Taker. Or Punk and Taker for the title at Mania. Could have been Cena versus Rock versus Punk for the title in Triple Threat. Cena versus Taker versus Punk. That's something new. But nah. It had to be John Cena versus The Rock because that's what we wanted to see. I don't know if they called it the most anticipated rematch in WrestleMania history. Damn sure wasn't. Should have just been Punk and Cena or Punk and Taker. Or Punk, Cena, and Taker or Punk, Rock, and Taker. But I was never a fan of twice in a lifetime because twice in a lifetime, in my opinion, was garbage. The build sucked. The match sucked. It should have never happened. Twice in a lifetime. Hated it. Never should have happened, but it happened. But that, guys, is my least favorite WrestleMania moment of all time, and that wraps up my list of top 10 least favorite WrestleMania moments. Thanks to everybody who watched this live, and thanks to everybody who watches and listens to this afterwards. I'm going to go to the live chat once more. These are all Tweet and Couponer comments. This is a question we're starting off with. He asked, WrestleMania 9, did Hogan have a bad eye? Yeah, Hogan had a black eye. I don't remember from what, but he had a black eye at the end of WrestleMania 9. WrestleMania 33, Reigns' victory over Taker set up WrestleMania 34, Brock versus Reigns. Both men beat Taker at Mania. Yeah, that was, The two men who beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania are going to fight to prove who is better for the Universal Championship in the main event that should have happened 2 years prior. He says the same thing as I did, what might have been for Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania 30. I agree Sting should have won at Mania versus Triple H. Yup. I wanted Bobby Lashley to team up with Braun. It could have been a dominant tag team. Oh, yeah, they could have been a dominant tag team. Then they could have dropped the titles around the summer, and Bobby Lashley and Braun Strowman could have had a feud going into SummerSlam. It would have been better than Bobby Lashley doing nothing, being on a pre-show with Elias, and Braun Strowman squashing Kevin Owens like he did. And then he also agrees WrestleMania 29 should have been Punk versus Rock versus Cena. Yeah, it should have been like Punk pitched it, you know. But anyway, guys, that'll do it for this live stream. Thank you all for watching and listening. Like I said, later this week, I hope to do 3 more videos in honor of Mania Week. NXT TakeOver predictions, WrestleMania 35 predictions, and my WrestleMania 35 fantasy booking video. Don't know when I'll do those, but I hope to do those soon. Hope to do them this week. And I will keep you guys up to date with any other video projects I have coming. Again, like I said, I got a brand new job, a new schedule for me, but I do have weekends off, so I'll try my best to do videos on weekends, or if I have time after work, depending on what I have to do in my personal life. But thanks everybody for watching and listening. Everybody have a great night. T and Couponer, thank you as always for the comments and the support. Everybody have a great night. Talk to you guys later, and enjoy WrestleMania week. We are on the road to WrestleMania. WrestleMania 7 days away. TakeOver this Friday, the Hall of Fame Saturday, and like I said, Mania is next Sunday. So everybody have a great night, and I'll catch you guys later. So Obi-Wan Kenobi signing off. Peace, everybody.